Angel Has Fallen is the third movie in the Has Fallen trilogy that nobody asked for, and that no studio literally wanted to make, because each of these three movies is financed by a different studio. Olympus Has Fallen, financed by Sony. London Has Fallen, financed by Gramercy and Universal, and this one is financed by Lionsgate. Angel Has Fallen is kind of a redirect from the last two. Instead of focusing on a big terrorist attacks on a city or a location, this time Mike Banning is on a retreat with the president, in this one played by Morgan Freeman, and the president is attacked, but Mike Banning is framed for the assassination, and he has to go on the run to clear his name and do the best he can to prove his innocence. Does this sound like every action movie ever made? It literally is. Now, with the tone of my voice, you're probably thinking, God damn, dude, you really hated this movie. I did not hate Angel Has Fallen. I thought it was fine. For what it is, it's fine. Honestly, this is a movie franchise that should not have happened. Olympus Has Fallen is a movie that should have just stood on its own. It was a movie that works better on its own. There is no way London Has Fallen or Angel Has Fallen should exist. I do think Gerard Butler has a lot of fun with the role, and he shows it a lot in this movie, and the thing that I like about the character of Mike Banning in this movie is the fact that they actually give him a little bit of background. There's actually something to his character. He's not just a Secret Service guy who looks like he could be the bodyguard for any professional wrestler, singer, celebrity, anything like that. There's actually a little bit of humanity to him. He's dealing with a lot of personal issues, a lot of medical issues. He's considering retiring, although that happened in London Has Fallen as well, which kind of a retread, but still, I mean, I think it's hammered home a little bit more in this movie than it is in London Has Fallen. So they flesh him out a little bit. He's also got a relationship with his father, played by Nick Nolte in this one, and I like that dynamic, although it is a little bit cliched, but they don't really linger on it too much, which I think was a good thing. A somewhat interesting dynamic there as well. The fact that he's actually fleshed out now as a character makes him a little bit more tolerable as somebody who keeps saving the president. And there are moments of fun in this movie. The entire third act of this movie is pretty fun. It takes place in a hospital. There's a giant shootout. That's where I was having the most fun. And I'll give the movie credit too, because this is, compared to Olympus and London, this is definitely the most grounded Has Fallen movie. This one has the least emphasis on action. It seemed like they were trying to tell more of a cohesive story with this one, because the plots for Olympus and London, especially London, are all over the place. London Has Fallen is like one of the biggest convoluted movies I've seen. Honestly, I did not hate London Has Fallen. I think that movie is just fine. All three of them are fine. I like Olympus Has Fallen the most. It's the most fun. But in terms of the violence, this one's definitely the most grounded. This is definitely like the one where it's like, yeah, the action's actually a little bit believable. It's not like Olympus Has Fallen, where it's like a giant drone strike and then people outside of the White House blowing themselves up. It's not a 20-minute siege on the White House like in Olympus Has Fallen or anything that happened in London Has Fallen. So I do find this one to be the most believable out of the three. And with Angel Has Fallen, despite having gone down this road with this story, somebody trying to clear their name because they got framed for an assassination attempt, a murder, whatever it may be, despite how cliched it is, it worked for the most part. I think they did a relative job of keeping it simple and not convoluted. You find out one thing about what the actual villain is after, and they stick to that. They don't overcomplicate the plot, thank God. Sometimes a movie like this where somebody's framed for an assassination attempt or a murder, and they're trying to clear their name, they go to ridiculous lengths to make the plot complicated, and luckily it's not convoluted in this movie. Now getting to the negatives, the action sequences in this movie. Who the hell filmed those? The camera is all over the place and it cuts away so quick. If you're gonna use shaky cam, know how to use it, and don't do all this flash cutting bullshit nonsense. You can't tell what's going on. Even though I was having fun in the final act of the movie, there was still a little bit of that final action scene, the siege in the hospital, where I was just like, what on earth is going on here? There's a couple of weird point of view shots as well that I really didn't feel like meshed with the action scenes and how those were edited, it just emphasized how weirdly they were edited. And the villain in this movie is basically, it's Danny Houston. He's just a bad guy. Because Danny Houston is always a bad guy. When is Danny Houston, like, not a businessman who's part of, like, a conspiracy? Or when is he not just... I don't know. Basically, the best way to put it is, when is he not Stryker from X-Men Origins Wolverine? I was literally waiting for Gerard Butler just to go, Stryker! Save that for Hugh Jackman, though. Yeah. Because I didn't like Danny Houston in this movie. I did not like his character in this movie. Danny Houston, to me, is just the same dude in every movie, and that's exactly what he is. He's a cartoon of himself in this movie. That's what he is. Despite the fact that I found this movie to be a bit more believable, I just don't find it believable that somebody would try and attempt a terrorist attack on the president for a third time when you know that the guy who stopped the previous 2 terrorist attacks on the president is the head of his security. You're obviously going to lose if that's the case. So why even bother? That's kind of what doesn't even make sense. That's why I feel like Olympus Has Fallen never needed a sequel, because we already know Mike Banning's gonna win. He's basically a superhero anyway. I just never understood how you can get a trilogy out of this. Supposedly this is the last one, according to Gerard Butler, and he said it was a bit more character-driven. He compared it to Logan. Yeah, that's bullshit. It is not as character-driven as Logan. But I'll give him this. It's at least a bit more character-driven than the other 2. There's some fun to be had. Gerard Butler is definitely having fun playing the role. It's less complicated and convoluted than the past 2 movies. There's just too much here that can't save it from choppy editing in the action sequences, terrible acting from Danny Houston, and just a bit of unbelievability and predictability, you know? I mean, what do you expect from a series like this? I'm going to give Angel Has Fallen a C. I definitely think it's better than London Has Fallen. Not as good as Olympus Has Fallen. I think the sequels are fine. I think Olympus Has Fallen is also a fine movie, but there's more entertainment value in that one. I would rather watch that one over these 2, but I didn't hate what I watched. It's just there's some weird editing choices in this one that I didn't really understand. Thank you for watching my review of Angel Has Fallen. You guys are the best. Stay tuned very soon for more reviews. I'll leave all my links to my social media accounts in the description below. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.